First off, before we start off, I want to say my condolences to Marianne Williamson. I heard while I was gone that Marianne Williamson dropped out of the race, and kombucha stocks are down 30-40% in America. So it's unfortunate when a powerhouse like Marianne Williamson drops out of the race. Kombucha stocks immediately plummeted. GTS, and they're all down. Glass bottles, plastic bottles, you name it. So you never like to see that happen. Marianne Williamson, jokes aside, I think she's a wonderful woman, and I like that she talked about the pharmacy industry. So farewell to Marianne. And I don't mean that I thought the kombucha thing was a funny joke, but I really do appreciate the fact that she was trying to bring love to politics, not really how I would do it personally, but I love that Marianne talked about big pharma and how, pills are being overprescribed, and for that, CNN hated her. She found out real quickly liberal media is not liberal. It's big government, big war, big politics media. You could be as liberal as a snowflake. You could be 20 times as liberal as Marianne Williamson, but you start talking about big pharma, you'll have Anderson Cooper there staring at you. What the hell did you say? She's like, what are you talking? I'm liberal. I'm just like you. What do you mean? I'm a Democrat. He's like, you shut your damn mouth with your Scientology, big pharma talk. How dare you question facts? Anyway, God bless Marianne Williamson. Let's drink a booch sometime, babe. And I don't mean, babe, if she's married or something, that's disrespectful, so just ignore that. The three things I want to talk about today, and then we'll open it up to you guys for questions, is getting back to Twitter. It was great taking a break. I'm always on my phone. My fingers hurt. It reminds me, I don't know if you guys saw, I was joking with my brother this week, but I don't know if you guys saw the movie Happy Gilmore with Adam Sandler, but you got Ben Stiller's character. This is just a side note. It's funny. Ben Stiller's character was like this mean guy who was running like a sweatshop out of a retirement home, and the old lady says she's knitting. He's making her knit for profit. It's like a slave labor factory, and she's like, my fingers hurt, and he's like, oh, your fingers hurt? Well, now your back's gonna hurt because you just pulled landscaping duty. It just reminds me of that for some reason. But yeah, my fingers hurt with the phone. I just reminded me of Happy Gilmore. That movie's awesome. But coming back to social media, it was great taking a break. I checked out Twitter, of course. Clown world just keeps rotating in circles. Iran. The one takeaway I had was that Iran shot down the plane, because I heard about that when I was gone, and I was like, man, that's not good. You never want to see like a civilian plane get taken down or fall, whatever it was. The Boeing had a problem, but it looked like Iran, I guess they just have shoddy missile defense. They were scared or something, and they shot the plane down. So never want to see that. It's horrible, and I thought maybe America was in on it or something. So I'm not saying it's terrible what happened, but I'm glad personally that it wasn't Trump or America that was doing something that nefarious, that it was a mistake by Iran. I think, the counter argument is like, if America wasn't doing this, they wouldn't have done that, which I get that. I don't like war. I don't like what's going on, but you can't shoot down your own planes. There's no excuse for that. That's no good. Three things I was thinking about was, I saw Matt Gaetz. If you guys know Matt Gaetz, he's a wonderful congressman from Florida. He disagreed with President Trump on one thing. I think it was the Congressional War Powers Act. And basically what he was saying is he wants the president to have to go through Congress. A lot of people feel this way. People like Rand Paul, a lot of people have been saying this for decades. And when you have President Trump in office, of course, you want him to be able to make decisions if you like him. If you don't like him, you don't want him to. But you have to remember George Bush, Obama, we've been decades of warmongering, people starting wars in Afghanistan, Yemen, Syria, Libya. It's like we've been all over the place. So it's actually what President Trump ran on, was ending the endless wars and not just like starting wars all over the place. So the thing with Matt Gaetz is, whether you disagree or agree with him, personally, I like that he went against the grain. But you got to see some of the responses of people. They're calling him a traitor, a rhino, a Democrat. And this is my friendly advice to the Trump, MAGA community, which is, in my opinion, done very well in the face of adversity these last couple of years. You don't want to treat people like that. Especially your Rand Pauls, your Matt Gaetz, your Anomalies, your Tucker Carlsons. These are patriots. These are people who love the country, and these are people who are not hive mind thinkers. There's a lot of supporters, there's a lot of media analysts, but your Tucker Carlsons and your Matt Gaetzes are people who really have a brain of their own and a soul. So they're not doing it. They're not Democrats. They're not rhinos. They just have integrity, and they're not followers. You get what I'm saying? There's a difference between someone who just follows. There's a bunch of people who just say what everyone else says, and then there's them. And I think it's there's nothing wrong with that. Same with Tucker Carlson. A lot of people were hating on his Iran analysis. It was great. I'm on my page here. I love you guys, but people were like, oh my God, Tucker's a traitor, blah, blah, blah. I hate Tucker. It's like, guys, Trump watches Fox News. He's influenced by Tucker. And I'm going to get into some of that. We're going to talk about Laura Ingraham. But my personal thought, I've read a lot. I've took it all in the last week. I think impeachment, it's not just a Nancy Pelosi thing. Nancy Pelosi's the head of the impeachment thing. But it's also, you have to understand, the swamp goes both ways. There's a lot of swampy Republicans. There's a lot of swampy Democrats. And the swamp, is trying to not just take Trump out of office, which you've seen, but they want to, if they can't take him out of office, they want to be able to shift the dynamic of his presidency. And one way to do that is threaten him with taking him out of office. So yeah, of course the Democrats want him out, and everyone keeps saying, well, if they try to push it through the Senate, they'll never get enough because there's Republicans there. You got to remember, not all the Republicans are loyal. I mean, like, people are hating on Matt Gaetz. He's one of the best ones. Jim Jordan, Matt Gaetz, Rand Paul, the rest, there's not a lot of winners out there. So Trump, in my perspective, Trump is nervous that he's going to get impeached by Republicans. If you notice on his Twitter, he keeps tweeting like literally every other day. He keeps saying 95% Republican support. 95% Republican support. 95. He says it literally. He's tweeted it 30 or 40 times. He's trying to drill into Republicans' head. Guys, I'm really popular in the Republican Party. Don't ruin this. I'm not saying he's scared. Trump's not a scared kind of guy, but he knows there's so many swampy Republicans. So he's trying to drill in the fact, guys, I'm popular. I'm the man. Everyone likes me. Like, don't go against me. So I think the Pelosi's and the right-wing people, they're using the impeachment to say, hey, Trump, you don't pass this $1 trillion spending bill that's terrible, I might vote a different way. Hey, Trump, you don't start poking at Iran a little bit more, I'm gonna, I might impeach you too. I might join Pelosi. So I think that's kind of the dynamic behind the scenes in my perspective. I'm not, this is not like a secret intelligence or anything. I'm not going to claim I know, but just reading a lot of perspectives and analysis and stuff, I think that's what's happening. So I think a lot of this stuff, Trump is, they're not taking him out of office, but they're able to shift the dynamic of what he's doing. And I think they really want to start a war with Iran. They've wanted to do that. Your Lindsey Grahams, Trump's disagreed with them all. So when Tucker Carlson or Matt Gaetz, the point I'm trying to make, when they disagree with Trump, it's, in my opinion, even if you don't agree, I think it's a great thing because you have to understand Trump, the swamp is closing in. The military-industrial complex swamp, the rhino swamp, and, he's going to need some people like Tucker Carlson and Matt Gaetz to shift the dynamic. He watches Fox News. Trump has a pulse on the people, on the Republicans. And there's a lot of people who just, in the news world, they're just followers. You know what I'm saying? They're ready to jump down my throat or Tucker Carlson's throat the second they disagree. But these type of people didn't even like Trump a year or two ago. And I'm not knocking people. I was more liberal. I was more left-leaning myself. Excuse me. But I find it very suspicious personally that there's people who, 2 years ago they were liberal. That's fine. I get it. I've been there. But now they're just like the biggest Trump cheerleaders. It's one thing, I like support the guy. I've supported him. I'm not knocking it, but it's literally like now they're attack dog. They're like cursing off Tucker Carlson. They're like cursing off Matt Gaetz and Rand Paul. And I look at these people and I'm like, they're not intelligent and they're not very honest. They're just like, they want like a spot at Mar-a-Lago or something really bad. But I like what Matt Gaetz is doing. I like what Tucker's doing. And Laura Ingraham, too. This is what I want to bring up. And then we'll answer questions. Any ones you guys got on anything. Laura Ingraham interviewed Donald Trump recently. And one part that stuck out to me that I saw on Twitter that I also like, and I think this is the future of kind of the MAGA movement to keep it in line with what Trump ran on. She really held Trump's feet to the fire on immigration. And it was really cool to see because normally, the Democrats don't give Trump a fair shake. They don't give good interviews at all. And a lot of right-wing people, like say a Hannity or something, he's not challenging Trump that much. He might a little bit, but Laura was very firm and she made a great point. And I love to see it because even if you love Trump, you want to see him, challenged and do what he ran on. She said basically, you keep bringing in all these immigrants to work these tech jobs and jobs. And she said wage growth is not growing quite as much as, we'd want it to. And, Trump was basically, his point was, there's really smart people in the tech industry from other countries and we want them there. And I get that point, but there's also a lot of, Uber and Lyft and a lot of Google and a lot of these companies that are bringing in people, not that they're like super geniuses that no American can fathom their intellect, but they're, they got diversity quotas. A lot of these companies like Uber and Lyft, they want lower wage, people that, will drive the wages down, but increase their revenues. A lot of companies like that. So Laura did a really great job, even though she loves Trump, to really challenge him. And I think Trump took a stance of he basically was just everybody coming from overseas is like these geniuses that like no one could fathom how they did. It's like, I really like what Laura did. I still like the president, obviously, but I think that's the type of vibes that I'm looking for. You can tell me what you think. I don't want people to turn on the president, hate on him, try to impeach him. I'm not about all that nonsense. I'm not a liar. I'm not a leaker. I'm not a hater. But there's like two different factions kind of competing now. You have the America First wave that kind of brings in now like your Tucker Carlsons, your even Matt Gaetz, your Laura Ingrams, and then the people who just kind of, in my opinion, I could use a better word, but dick ride. They kind of just ride his dick, ride his coattails, and just will do anything he says. Like if Trump, it's like the opposite of Trump derangement syndrome. It's like Democrat derangement syndrome, where it's like Trump could be like, do anything. And they're like, oh, that's the best thing ever. $1 trillion spending bill. Oh yeah, man, you're the best. And it's like, I'm not saying he's not a great president. I do think he's one of the best presidents ever, but that's not cool. Like, you don't have to act, even if you think it's okay. Like, yeah, we need a military budget. You don't have to act like it's the greatest thing ever. It's not the greatest bill ever, Pat. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Those type of Trump supporters are kind of cringy. And I think there's the two competing factions. And I don't think it's negative. Then we're going to get to questions. People think it's bad. Oh my God, you're doing this. You're going to split the vote. People are not going to vote for Trump. We don't need yes men, especially in media. If you're going to just be a Trump supporter, that's fine. But like a lot of these people in news analysis, media, we need some good journalism and some good questionings, because Trump listens to people. If you just take the side of the swamp, he'll do what the swamp says. You know what I'm saying? He disagreed with Lindsey Graham on foreign policy his entire presidency. He was at odds with Lindsey Graham, and I love that, because I think Lindsey Graham seems like a nice guy. He's got good integrity sometimes, but I don't like his foreign policy at all. I don't like a lot of these Republicans' foreign policy. Trump campaigned against it, and now all of a sudden he's retweeting Lindsey Graham. He's got 20 Lindsey Graham retweets. It's like, I didn't vote for Lindsey Graham. Like, people like that you weren't Lindsey Graham. We don't need that. So, I'm not knocking. It's complex overseas. I'm not hating on it, but the point I wanted to get, the Matt Gaetz, your Laura Ingrams, your Tucker Carlsons, your Anomalies, and others, I think it's a very healthy part of MAGA. And I don't, even if you disagree with me or Laura or Tucker, I don't want to see people so nasty and negative, because it's like, if you become that, you become everything you hate. You become the intolerant Democrat. It's like groupthink, hive mind. Like, and one other thing I want to mention too that I don't like, I'm not a fan of this Soleimani guy. I'm not here to defend him. But Facebook, Instagram, and all the social media, they're now taking down posts if you say anything about Soleimani in a positive light. And here's my thing. I don't have anything nice to say about the guy. Particularly, I don't know much about him. But that's freedom of speech. That's the First Amendment. That's what America's built on. Whether it's Soleimani, Trump, Hillary, Bin Laden, others, I'm not here to celebrate them at all. But like, you have the right, in my opinion, in America, they shouldn't remove it from social media. You should be able to post it on social media, and people should be able to disagree with you. The fact that Republicans are kind of cheering that on too, it's not their fault specifically, but it's like, now you have social media working hand in hand with basically the Trump administration to quell all people who disagree with Trump. I don't like Soleimani. I think Iran is, not the biggest winners, but I don't want to win. I want my arguments to win. I don't want to win by taking down social media posts, and that's what's doing. If this was Obama or Bush, I'd be like, this is whack. So these are things to look at, because most people who support Trump aren't going to say this, but now you have Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter working on behalf of the Trump administration, basically, to censor and silence all critics, and now Trump's tweeting to Iran about internet freedom. It's like, bro, I don't care this is my last point, and then we're really going to get to question it. I don't care what Iran does. You can do your military things against Iran. You can, do what you got to do. But who cares about the Iranian regime? Like, let's not turn America into Iran. We're always like, ooh, why are there gays in Palestine? It's like, let's focus on America, because soon America will be the same as these countries if you don't pay attention to trends in this country. So it's like, I'm tired. I like the America First vibes. It's like, I don't want, you can military do what you got to do against Iran, but stop acting like you care about internet freedom in Iran. Maybe he does, but we don't even have internet freedom here. Google's rigging the entire election against Trump himself. They're deleting hundreds of channels. They're dystopian Orwellian censors that are disgusting. It's anti-First Amendment. It's all, not even remotely legal what they're doing. And then Trump's talking about the internet in Iran. Let's focus on America. If they shut down the internet in Iran, that's terrible, but we can't even, this is why we can't conserve things here. We're too busy about Palestine and Iran, what they're doing, and we don't even have the freedoms that we're crying about that they don't have. Yes, it's more free here, but let's make it even freer. And then they could do what they want, but if, they do whack stuff with the military, you could oppose them. But let's stop with the regime change. Like, we're supporting the Iranian people. Let them do what they got to do. That's my take. Answering questions now for about an hour. Thank you guys for joining and staying. God bless you guys. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. Bring on the questions. It could be about anything, and I want to hear from you, what you have to say. Put your perspective on blast, and then if you disagree with me as well, or you agree or want to hear something, let's do it. Laura said, I've missed you. Thank you, Laura. You've been missed too. Someone said it's already turning into those countries. Look at Michigan. Listen, I'm not out here hating, but that's what I'm saying. It's like we're so worried about what Palestine and Iran are doing. Meanwhile, we have states that are turning into those areas, and we have, like, California is disgusting. It's probably what's happening in Los Angeles. It's probably a more disgusting city than Tehran, Iran. I bet you Tehran is clean. I've never been there, but it's probably 1,000 times cleaner than Los Angeles. So do I care what the Iranian regime's doing to its people? No. Do I care that they shot down a plane? Yeah, that's terrible. But do I care that, they're clean Los Angeles? You know what I'm saying? Figure out why Tennessee is conservative, but they're taking in refugees like they're Nancy Pelosi. That's what I'm concerned about. All right, you got to repeat it. Janet said, I stated my comments. Someone said, are you planning to relocate? I am. So Joanne said, calling the president bro isn't respectful. I don't recall calling him bro, but maybe I just said bro in passing, but it's okay. He'll get over it. He's got a lot of respect. Sir, Your Honor, God bless you. Someone says, should our president use executive privilege? Here's the catch-22. I'm just going to be honest, because you're going to have a lot of grandstanders and stuff. This is the pros and cons of the American government. Whether, the cons are things move really slowly. So if they do the congressional order for war, it's going to move slowly. And who trusts Congress? It's like now Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, and Lindsey Graham are going to have a say on it. Oh, yeah, that's really what I want. So that's the catch-22. Like, is Congress better than Trump? Probably not. Is it better to move slower? In some cases, no. We don't get anything done except for war and military budgets. But the pro is that, things would go slower and it would be maybe harder to start a war. So, there's no right or wrong answer in my opinion. When you have a president you like, having executive order is good if you like what they're doing. When you have an Obama or an AOC or someone bad wins, then it's terrible. They could turn into like a Stalin or something. So, that's American government though. Things move slow. We don't have a monarchy. We have like a 3-pronged system where nothing really gets done. So when bad things are happening, yay, no bad things are getting done. It's good. When good things need to pass and you can't even build a wall, Trump says he's building a wall. It's not really being built. He keeps, it's being built. Some of it, not all of it. The funding is way underfunded. So it's like that's the pros and the cons of having a slow-moving government. So I don't really have a stance on the, if Congress was like great, then I'd be like, yeah, I want them to decide. But like, am I going to act like I really care that much as a civilian? Not really. So it's like Congress is a political show using their positions as a soapbox. Yeah, it's all a circus. But the more you take a break and the more you realize, like that's what I've realized recently why I talked about the Tucker and the Laura. Obviously, to me, the left wing, they play the game of like, if Trump says it, I disagree. They don't know anything anymore. But now the right wing is starting to do that, where it's like, if Trump agrees, I agree. And then if the Democrats say it, it's horrible. Where, listen, I can't stand AOC and Ilhan Omar. They're annoying. But I'm not going to lie. Every now and then they make a tweet that makes sense. It doesn't mean that their policy's good. I don't like the Green New Deal or any of that stuff. But it's not like I don't have AOC derangement syndrome or Ilhan Omar derangement syndrome. Sometimes they tell the truth. So my opinion is, you have to be true. If you're true, you can't win, whether it disagrees or agrees with whoever. Like, you can't play this game of opposite day. It's very childish. You have like 50-year-olds acting like 2-year-olds. It's really pathetic. Like, politics is a very, very pathetic industry. It's very embarrassing, I would think, to fully grown adults that act like 12-year-olds in a sandbox. Let's read some comments, not Congress. Do you think Chuck and Nancy were trying to push Trump into war with Iran months ago? Do you think Israel is involved with pushing war with Iran? That's a good question. Does Chuck Schumer want a war with Iran? I'm sure he does. Does Nancy Pelosi? Probably. Does Israel? Absolutely, I would say. So who's facilitating what? But here's also the thing: is Iran trustworthy? No. That's where I'm at, because there's only two sides. It's like Iran is this terrorist regime where everything that they do is evil. They're the worst regime in modern history. I don't believe that. I don't think they're great, but I don't think they're the worst thing ever. And then there's it's all Israel's fault and Nancy Pelosi's fault, and they can do no harm. Like, Iran is this great regime that's perfect. I don't really agree with any of them. So does Israel and Pelosi and Schumer want to war with Iran? For sure. It's called neocons and Zionists, I would say, is the closest definition of people who want war with Iran. People who have the Israeli first agenda absolutely want war with Iran, the military-industrial complex, your Lindsey Grahams. But also, maybe Iran is this terrible threat. I don't think it's that, I don't think it's as extreme as they say, but it reminds me of Iraq and Libya. They want to do what they want to do. And I think in order to do what they want to do, they have to have a reason. So in Syria, they said I'm not a huge Bashar al-Assad fanatic, but they said Bashar al-Assad had chemical weapons. I don't think he did any of the things they said he did, but they wanted a reason to go invade Syria, and they did it. And now that's what they did. In Libya, they needed a reason. In Iraq, they needed a reason. I think that's kind of what Trump's doing. In my opinion, I think he's probably exaggerating, or we'll find out, but I think they've been wanting to do this since day one. They've been wanting to do this for 15 years. So, people like John Bolton and Lindsey Graham, they've hated the fact that Trump didn't want to do this. Trump ran on not doing this. Trump definitely wanted to do a hard line on Iran, but his whole campaign was not doing what he's kind of doing. But in the game of risk, I'm going to be fair. In the game of the world, sometimes you need a strong hand. Sometimes the weak hand doesn't work. So I'm not a military agent. I'm not a president. It's a hard opinion, and I think that's what a lot of people they act like it's the easiest thing to do. Ignore them completely, attack them. It's not a yes or no, black and white type of answer. So I'll be fair about that. So I'm a civilian. It's not up to me. Do you think we should ban political parties and get rid of the team mentality? I don't think you could ban it, but it's up to people. We're grown adults. Listen, I just turned 30. I'm one of the youngest people who does this news stuff. Why am I the most mature? It's pretty sad, because I don't think I'm that mature. But why am I the voice of reason? It's because no one else, come on, do we need we need to take away political parties so 50-year-olds can stop acting like 2-year-olds? Just stop. You could like Trump, you could dislike Iran, you could dislike this person, love, and not be so emotional. And reading the Trump supporters, I follow a lot of Trump supporters. A lot of my friends love Trump. Seeing how they acted after the Iran thing, I'm not defending Iran. You listen to me now. I'm not taking a huge stance. I'm not hardline against it or for it. I'm being reasonable. But seeing Trump supporting accounts, it's disgusting. The types of stuff they're doing, they're becoming just as hive mind and ignorant and rude as the left wing, and the whole thing is well, I'm not the left wing. Well, I'm not the right wing. At least I'm not them. It's I feel like I'm in preschool, where it's I'm the Red Ranger. I want to be the Red Ranger. No, I'm Tommy. I want to be the Green Ranger. No, you're the Pink Ranger. Why am I the Pink Ranger? You're the Blue Ranger. You're Billy. You're a nerd. I want to be the Red Ranger. You can't be the Red Ranger. It's I feel like I'm recess playing wall ball. It's really sad. Sometimes guys have to beat each other up to become best friends, Gordon said. Listen, it's the thing. Do you think social media is a force to divide the country? I mean, I think it's a double-edged sword. I think social media has interlocked us like nothing else before. You can order food with the touch of a button. You could book flights on a supercomputer, more powerful than what they went to the moon on. You could reach out to your family in Zimbabwe. You can meet women in freaking Germany. It's like you could do anything on. So it's like the good thing is like, no, we're more connected than ever, but we're also more divided than ever. So it's like they use very intense algorithms that are artificial intelligence. So it's like they capture you in this world because they want to sell ads to you and they want you to use their platform. So while you're using Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram are using you. They're using you to collect data. They're using you, and they're using supercomputers that are like AI robots that are smarter than any human to determine what will keep you on the platform. So if you're ever like me, you're just scrolling on Twitter or Instagram, having a miserable time, and you just can't get off, even though it's not fun. It's because they have artificial intelligence algorithms that have like determined the most efficient, effective way with all of the stuff going on to keep you on that platform. But I'm not a complainer, so there's great things about it, there's terrible things about it. I think it's up to us to break through to the next dimension, the next moment, and that's what I'm trying to do next year. My first big video of the year, probably tomorrow or the next day, is it's going to be totally outside of politics, and it's going to be inspirational and motivational and try to get people's mindset away from that to be successful, regardless of the political situation. So, I'm going to try to do that more this year as well. Of course, I'm going to stick to politics and do stuff, but even if you notice, with my politics, every time I talk about something, I influence wisdom, positive thinking, motivation, good energy, thoughtfulness, stuff like that. So, and then I'm always saying God bless you and trying to end on a positive note. So I kind of use politics to bring good energy to people and, the truth. So it's not like I'm not really into politics. I can't stand politics. But, I saw that there was like no spirituality. There was no love. There was none of this. So it's like, I'm going to do even more of that this year, but still talk about stuff. I want to know what you think about Pete Buttigieg. Have a good dinner, Patrick. Thank you for being here. Pete Buttigieg is just like not. I don't even think about him. I think his last name is funny, and I think he's like not a winner. I think the Democrats are very weak and pathetic, and that's kind of the thing with Trump, where it's like even on his worst day, he's crushing them. They're very unlikable. Pete Buttigieg, like, I'm reasonable, I'm moderate, but I'm gay. It's like, we get it, bro. That's cool. But like, I'm fit to be in office. I'm the commander in chief. It's like celebrities like me. I raise a lot of money in Hollywood because they think I'm a big boy who can really do the job. It's like, yeah, man, keep raising. You're really gonna win. Keep going, bro. That's what I think of Pete Buttigieg. It's like he convinced like Hollywood millionaires to give him money, and actual Americans don't care about him, so he'll fade away just like the rest of them. Someone said, why do you say God bless you? That's a good question, because people sneeze. You got to think 750 people are watching this right now, so someone's probably sneezing right now, so I say God bless you. No, I'm just kidding. I think it's a nice thing to say. I think I like when someone opens the door for me, I say thank you. In my personal life, like every person I talk to, I say have a nice day. I do that to like waiters, like they're supposed to do that to me, have it like I'm like more polite than them, and they're like, what? Like I say God bless you a lot to like my Uber and Lyft drivers when I walk out. I don't know, I think it's a nice thing to say. Bless somebody from God, and then rather than like see you, like God bless you, have a nice day. I feel like that feels good. Megan said, do you think Q is real? I've been asked this a bunch of times for years. My stance on Q is I think the Q movement does a lot of valid research and questioning, but the whole premise of Q is like to wait for something to happen. So for me personally, I'm not that interested in it. I was years ago for a few weeks, but I'm a action type of guy, so it's like either it's gonna happen or it's not gonna happen. To me, there's no benefit for me to like run in circles and make theories about what John Huber's gonna do or what Durham's gonna do. at the end of the day, to me, that's not going to move the needle at all. Either they're going to, show, like today, if you guys looked, Christopher Wray, I believe, of the FBI said that the FBI basically made mistakes and lied. And I think Stephen Molyneux had a good tweet about it. He said something like, if you lie to the FBI, you go to jail. If the FBI lies to you, sorry. So it's like, I like the whole Q thing is like, okay, let's see. I have patience, but a lot of time has passed. Not that much has happened. We'll see what happens when the Durham report comes out, but I see no value in like pretending, like just show me the Carfax. It's like a business meeting. Like, you've said it a million times, but like, where's the contract? Where's the deal? I've heard your mouth moving for 2 years. So I'm not being hateful or negative. I think there's valid research and stuff, but it's a lot of, in my opinion, it doesn't interest me personally. Do you think Pelosi is stalling on the impeachment process because it's going to backfire on the Dems even worse? Good question, Kyle. Probably that has something to do with it. Yeah, I think that's absolutely. When you control the House like the Democrats do, they got to kind of determine how that went out. So it was embarrassing. I think even their own impeachment thing backfired, because if you watched that, I think they turned a lot of people off. I mean, you watch that, a lot of the Republicans, not all of them, but a lot came across as like reasonable and trustworthy, and the Democrats came across as like psychotic. Not to everybody, but if I had to say, was that a win for Trump? It was a win for like people who were just, ooh, he got impeached. But like, I think for America, I think it backfired even that. So now if you run it through the Senate, Republicans can have their way with it. They can call up their witnesses and people that were blocked from the last one. So I think it'll backfire even more. Yeah, I think that's part of it. She's probably trying to gather Republicans behind closed doors too. I like Steve Bannon's analysis of Nancy Pelosi, because you guys hate Nancy Pelosi. And I think she's, Steve Bannon says she's a brilliant politician. Doesn't mean she's a good person. Doesn't mean she's likable. Doesn't mean she's not drunk. She might be drunk every day. I'm just kidding, but maybe. But she's, she knows how to play the game. So she might be going to Republicans behind closed doors. Let's get Trump to do this to Iran. Let's get Trump to pass the spending bill. All they have to do is get 4 or 5 Senate Republicans. And trust me, a lot of these Republicans don't give 2 craps about Donald Trump. They care about a lot of other things more than him. So I think that's why he keeps talking about the 95% approval rating in the Republicans. Every day he tweets it. Every single day, 95%. He's afraid that Republicans are going to turn on him, and I guarantee you, Nancy Pelosi behind closed doors is trying to facilitate something very, very sneaky. She's a sneaky little snake, that Nancy. Watch out, you got a wild Nancy coming. Psst. It's drunk. The snake's drunk. Someone said Jordan came across as reasonable. You talking about Jim Jordan? I think so. I mean, you might not, everybody's different, but my guess is overall, I think they probably moved the needle a little bit, but I think Jim Jordan is definitely one of the smarter, more reasonable Republicans personally. I think he shines in the impeachment hearings, but to each their own. You might think he's awful. I'm not gonna knock it. Cindy Lou, that's a good question. So they're saying the pallets of money Obama sent to Iran was already Iran's money. What did I miss? So I haven't done enough research on this, but I believe the truth is, and you could correct me and look this up, but I believe the truth is, it was their money that was frozen. So I think it's a little bit disingenuous, but it's a good talking point to say, they just gave Iran a bunch of American money. I think it was that's what people say. It was Iran's money that was frozen, and then Obama unfroze it and gave it to them. So I don't think it was like American taxpayers just giving him money, but I think they gave Iran money that they froze for some reason. So, and I think it's personally, I don't like Obama at all. I don't want to say at all. I would like to play basketball with him and be like, bro, what's really going on behind the scenes? But, I'm not a big fan of what he did in his presidency, but I think it is disingenuous to be like, Obama funded the Soleimani's rant. It's like, I don't know about it. Like, it's a little bit of a reach in my opinion. It's like, for instance, it's ISIS is celebrating. Soleimani fought ISIS really hard. Soleimani probably fought ISIS harder than Obama ever did, and maybe, Trump did even. So ISIS is celebrating. They're like super pumped that Soleimani's dead. If I was disingenuous, I would say, oh, you know, Trump and Republicans are the same as ISIS because ISIS is celebrating and Trump's celebrating, so you're ISIS. We could play these games, but that's what the Democrats do. Oh, David Duke agreed with Trump on foreign policy. Trump's David Duke. Oh, Ilhan Omar agreed with David Duke. Ilhan Omar's David Duke. No, David Duke is David Duke. Ilhan Omar is Ilhan Omar. Donald Trump's Donald Trump. Sometimes they interlap with foreign policy or domestic policy, but it's not to say they're the same. So I think these are the games that Republicans and Democrats play when it's convenient. And it could go both ways. You could say Obama funded all this. I stick to what I know. It's like we definitely funded terrorism, but you know, not just Iran. But you know, that's for a different day. But that's a lot of what it is too. There's a lot of proxy wars. Like there's so many groups like Al Qaeda, Al Nusra, ISIS. You had them, Hezbollah, America. You know, it's such a shit show. It's embarrassing. But you know, that's what it is. Someone said Trudeau just gives a lot of money. Trudeau is, can I say this? I want to say the R word, but it's hate speech. Trudeau is a goofball. We'll say that for the kids. Trudeau is a goof. He's a goofy little. He's got to just wear his own skin. I think if Trudeau loved who he was and loved his skin color, he would lead better. But I think he's a little ashamed. I think he likes to dress up a little too much, but it's okay. What up, Jason? Thanks for being here. Someone said froze because it was money for their nuclear funds we took away. Yeah, no, I'm not saying why we did it. I'm just saying I think it was frozen money. Yeah, it's not like we just gave them taxpayer monies. We give a lot of taxpayer money away to countries, just not Iran. Trust me, your taxes are all over the place, everywhere. What about Medicare for all? Someone said that's a good question. So if you know, people know, I thought Bernie Sanders personally was an outsider, not a Democrat, not a Republican, was going to end the wars. So, you know, I was following him and I wanted him to be Hillary Clinton in 2016 very much. But the whole healthcare thing, it was never really of interest to me personally, but I know a lot of Bernie people did and I learned a lot about it. Now, after years of not only being 26, 27, 28, paying healthcare, understanding how the system works, the thing with Medicare for all is it sounds good, you know. Everyone gets healthcare. Everyone gets free healthcare. It comes out of your taxes. You'll save money overall. It sounds amazing. The problem is that it's singular government healthcare. So in my perspective, it's like we have a lot of people who are starving. You know, I wouldn't say a lot in America. There's a lot of people who are the opposite of starving. But say there's starving people, and you say, you know, we're gonna have food for all. Everyone's gonna get fed, and then you close down every restaurant and open one singular restaurant where everybody gets fed out of. It would be a dystopian hell. So, you know, America has a lot of flaws in the healthcare system. Drug prices, a lot of corruption in big pharma. But I don't think the answer is singular government healthcare. I think that will be hell. And you start to realize in California and New York, two extremely liberal states that are Democrat run, every time they do the healthcare for all, like in California now, they're pushing that for illegal immigrants. You have to pay. You can't opt out. If you opt out, it's illegal. New Jersey, I think New York and California are doing that now with the individual mandate. Then you start to see medical tyranny come over. And it's not a surprise because anytime you give the government, Bernie people don't trust the government. Jill Stein supporters don't trust the government. Democrats, a lot of them don't trust or like the government. So you shouldn't give them all your power. There's a reason that there's medical tyranny. They're forcing vaccines. If your kid doesn't get this vaccine, he can't do this, he can't do that, he can't do this. You know, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5, there's 10. And if you disagree, you can't disagree for religious reasons. You can't give the government the entire control over the health industry or else you get medical tyranny. So talk to some doctors in California. They have no control. The California medical industry is largely run by the federal government. So that's what you would get with the universal health care for all. Everyone would lose their private insurance. Millions of working people would hate that because they have good, decent insurance now that they've had. And also the government would control everything. I don't think the government should do that. It's corrupt now. Big pharma is actually absolutely out of control. But to me, the answer is not universal health care for all. But I know if you bring that argument to progressive circles, they freak out because, you know, no one else feels that way. But yeah, it would be a nightmare, and you would see medical tyranny like you see, you have to do this, you have to do this, you can't do this. And once again, you can't opt out. There's no deal that's so good you can't opt out. No, trust me, you'll love this so much, Anomaly. We're going to make you buy it, and you have to tax it. I don't want healthcare, personally. I don't trust the health industry. Maybe one day I'll trust it and I'll want it when I get to a certain age. Right now, I prefer to save $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 over the course of 10 years, but California, New York, New Jersey, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, what they want to do is steal $40,000 from me. I'll save literally nothing, and then they're acting like they're helping me somehow. It's like, give me the freedom to choose what I want. You know, it's like a top-down system that's very scammy, in my opinion. Someone said the Obamacare mandate was unconstitutional. Yeah, he screwed up the free markets. It's like the worst of both worlds now. I understand why people want universal health care. It's the worst of both worlds. We have like the worst of a universal healthcare, and then we have the worst of a free healthcare. Obama screwed it up. And here's the thing. I think socialist healthcare would work in certain areas. I'll give you a hint. It works well in Israel, one, because they have money. We give them a lot of money a year, but also they're doing well financially. But also they have a homogenous group of people that's mostly themselves, smaller country. Socialist healthcare works there because there's not a lot of people. It's mostly them. And they don't screw up the system. It worked in Sweden for a while because it was mostly Swedish people. There weren't a lot of people. Everybody paid into the system. But you start to buck those systems. Like in Sweden now, you have grenade attacks, rapes, explosions, because they brought in a bunch of phony refugees. There's some real ones, but also they're shifting demographics so much to the point where the healthcare system's not working like it used to. The crime is way up and stuff like that people don't want to talk about. So it works well. In my opinion, socialist healthcare could work well in a very small region where everybody is like really in on it, but then it kind of like it's that system also really backfired because that's what in a way, I'm not saying it's completely, but like Hitler was like National Socialist, strong nationalism and socialism. It didn't end up well. And then you have Israel kind of does that. They love Israel. They have socialism. We'll see how it works out. I don't want it. America, in my opinion, too big, too many people, too diverse. And I think that's where it works best. But then, does it really work over time? Watch Israel over the next 20 years and see how their healthcare system and, Canada and Sweden, see how they age. There's pros, there's cons. Wait times, bad. Surgery, not always the best, but it's not, I guess if you're always at the emergency room, then you might save money. Someone said pharma hikes the prices. Yeah, no, big pharma is insanely corrupt and they sell our drugs all over the world for cheaper. I wish people would, like Trump and Bernie Sanders would work together to lower the drug prices. Trump is doing it, I believe, but everyone wants their agenda. Oh, we need lower drug prices, but we need this. We need lower drug. Why don't you just do it? They act like the only way they could do it is by doing Medicare for all. No, you could negotiate with Big Pharma and get them to stop scamming America. This is the thing about America too, and then I'm going to take the next question. I love our country, don't get me wrong. I think it's one of the greatest countries in the world, but there's something to be said about a country that makes a lot of medicine and then we scam our own people. You get what I'm saying? We make a lot of the medicine, but we scam our own people and sell it to all these other countries for cheaper. Same thing with places like McDonald's. McDonald's in America is worse than it is in Japan. In Japan, it's luxury. In Europe, it's better, it's cleaner, it's nicer. So what does our culture say about ourselves if the things that we do, we scam ourselves with all of our inventions and creations? So, you get what I'm saying? There's a problem in America. And then you see other problems that come with, like, we are leading the nation in, I believe, like parent divorce. We're leading the entire world in divorces. I mean, it happens to the best of us, but something's going on in the greatest country in the world that we constantly scam ourselves and can't keep it together. So I think that's kind of a thing that Republicans don't say that much. Like, America's great. Yeah, but if we're so great, why is McDonald's luxury in Japan? We made McDonald's. Why isn't it luxury here? There's something wrong with our culture. There's something right. I don't want, I'm not trying to adopt like a whole nation's different culture, but we could take positives from other people and be like, hey, that's what I liked about Trump too. Once he got in office, like, America first. Yeah, let's focus on California. Let's focus on America. Let's build things here. Let's love each other. You know what I'm saying? We don't even love each other. So we could learn a lot from, I think, other cultures in certain ways, but also keep our American freedom. America. Do you know anything about Pelosi's son involved in Ukraine corruption as well? I don't know that much, but I mean, these people have been in politics for so long, I can't even imagine what they're doing. Someone said we lost the nuclear family. Yes, a lot of things. The culture, I mean, you know, a lot of culture in like India or Japan, they stay together. A lot of times it's arranged marriages, which, you know, I'm not a fan of, but it's like in the culture to stay together. And in America, our culture is becoming extremely degenerate, and I think it's a problem. Thank you, Kyle. Where do I hoop at? Maybe we can, I don't know. You just got to catch me pull up at a park. I can't tell you where I'm at, but I'm balling on them every now and then. Let me see. This reason. Someone said if you change a single thing about McDonald's, people here lose their minds. I'm just saying, why is our own restaurant nicer in other countries? You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's embarrassing, I think, for our country. Like, it should be nicer here. It should be luxury. If it's luxury in Japan and Europe, why isn't it luxury here? We made it. McDonald's came from America. Someone said, I'm gonna read that. Caroline said, Trump is not for loving each other. Now Marianne was and wanted a Department of Peace and a Department of Youth. I think me as like a very chill, peaceful person, I like Marianne Williamson's ideas, but I just don't like her execution. I love that she talked about pharmacy. I like that she wanted to like bring love to politics. I just personally wasn't feeling it. I like her. I like her as a person. I think she's probably a great spiritual leader. I think it's great that she ran. Net positive. She brought up the pharmacy triumph to the Democrat Party, which has probably never been done before. I love Marianne, but I know what she was trying to do as someone who wants to bring love to politics too. I just wasn't feeling, you know, maybe you were. I just wasn't feeling her approach. I think her foreign policy was bad. Everyone's just trying to like oppose Trump so much. I get it. He's the president. They got to run against him. But I think, you know, it fell a little short. There's a lot to be desired there. But, you know, well done, Marianne. Thank you for bringing some realness to the game. Someone said the Japanese have higher standards. For sure. They have higher standards, a culture of not being degenerate and trashing everything. I think we have a lot to learn from that, you know, and it's outside of even politics. I mean, obviously one party I think is trashes a little bit more, but and then claims to clean everything. But someone said, now I want McDonald's. Yeah, sorry. Someone said, here, I'm going to read this. Matt Eddy said, McDonald's is a franchise in Japan and other countries choose to upgrade it. Absolutely, Matt. I agree with you, Matt. It's not, I don't want the government to step in and do something, but that's what I'm saying. There's a reason that the Japanese take that franchise and make it better. If we're the best country in the world, we should do better, or at least equal. The fact that we're underachieving shows where our minds are at, and that's not something that Trump can try to help with, or Marianne Williamson can try to help with, but that's on us. You know, that's why I'm tired of politics, because it's like, yeah, I get it. You know, now you're the cool Trump guy, and you just post things all day about it's like, yeah, but like what's that really doing? We need like a spiritual uplift to be great again. I know people are trying to do that, but like why aren't our franchises better? Why? You know, it's because they care more. They're better at business. They're cleaner. These are all things you want to be. Who wants to go to a dirty, disgusting place? Like, do you want to go to the nice McDonald's or the so-so McDonald's? I mean, people go to, it's not like McDonald's is the worst thing ever imagined. It's like in nicer areas in America, they're nice. In crappy areas in America, they're crappy. But even in nice areas of America, they're still not as nice as Japan. I want to be the best, you know? I want America first. I believe in that. Someone says soon Prince Harry will be working at McDonald's. That's a good one. Good job. It's getting a little dicey with the royal family. He's like, listen, I'm not royal no more. He's like, I just want to be a citizen. I don't know what to think of that. I'm thinking either, you know, the scandals are getting too scandalous there, or Meghan Markle's pulling the strings and he's just a little listener boy. Either one of those, but you know, either way, God bless them. You know, I don't know what they're doing, but I think it's pretty funny. Someone said, does Japanese put fluoride in the water? Probably not. The funniest thing about the fluoride in the water is like forever, everybody thought that was like the dumbest conspiracy theory. And then people started like, they started reporting in the mainstream news about how like the fluoride levels in the water could like be bad for like women, and people finally believed it because it was in the news. And the CDC, I believe, or one of the US government, they called it like the greatest thing they've ever done. Like they talked about it like it was like one of the greatest things they've ever done was putting fluoride in the water. But here's the thing. It's like the vaccine argument. There's a way, like, it's not you're not anti-science. I go to a dentist. What happens when you're at the dentist? Do I think fluoride is horrible to put in your mouth? It's debatable, but I'm not anti-fluoride. You get what I'm saying? I'm not anti-fluoride, but I think that they tell you to spit out the fluoride. You get what I'm saying? When you do it at the doctor's, rinse your mouth with fluoride for a minute and then spit it all out, and don't eat for 30 minutes. They tell you specifically not to eat because they don't want you to swallow the fluoride or mess up your teeth. So it's known in the science world that you're not supposed to swallow fluoride, and the CDC put fluoride in the water. It's not like Alex Jones can say, oh my God, anomalies. You're not supposed to swallow fluoride. It's not like this virtuous thing. Oh yeah, it tastes great. Like, they tell you spit it out and don't eat for 30 minutes. So the fact that it took people 30 years to realize that that wasn't a good idea is alarming. Let's see, where are we at? They said fluoride sticks to your teeth. Yeah, no, I know, but they also don't want you to drink fluoride, or else you just drink it and swallow it. Yeah, look up what fluoride is. You're not. Look at your toothpaste. It says don't swallow, of course. Someone said, I am in Japan. There's no fluoride in the water here, and the McDonald's really are better. See, I told you, I haven't even been to Japan. I just know these things. Someone said fluoride is absorbed more through the skin than swallowed. Probably true. Someone said I drink bottled spring water. There you go. I got a little purifier, but we're fine. The immune system works in mysterious ways. We'll be all right. Donald, you savage. Someone said your mouth is an absorbent spot. Don't do it. Yeah, I know. I've heard that argument. Thank you, Evelyn. Someone said not to worry about Prince Harry. His wealth is somehow between 30 and 45 million. Yeah, I'm not worried about it. I'm sure him and Meghan will figure it out. They're the least of my worries, trust me. Someone said fluoride, the concentrations are so minuscule. It's all about the concentrations. At a certain level, it is a poison. Yeah, check it out. They did a research recently and found that the levels were, of the grade of doing some damage in certain areas. So it's debatable about how much you should or shouldn't do. I'm not here to start this whole fluoride conversation. I'm just saying, just throwing it out there. Someone said California wines are full of fluoride. How do I feel about grilled cheese? You can't go wrong with I'm thinking of like a beef brisket grilled cheese dipping in like a tomato soup. Like, you can't go wrong with that. So I try to not eat cheese all the time, like grilled cheeses, because it's so much cheese and bread, it'll cause some problems up in here. But like, if there's like a beef brisket, like short rib grilled cheese on the menu with a tomato soup, like there's a high chance I'm gonna start dipping. You feel me? I just spurred this insane fluoride conversation. People are gonna debate on it, but it's good though. Tell me what you think. I'm not the biggest like fluoride, expert. Someone said in 1989, a doctor prescribed fluoride drops for my baby. He wound up with the worst teeth ever. Yeah, you guys could talk about fluoride. There's a lot of people here with a lot of perspectives. That's good. We get all the perspectives and we figure it out. Someone said bottled water, spring water is a scam. Already proven that many factories pump from the same city. Probably true. I noticed Dasani started tasting horrible once Coca-Cola bought it. Before Coca-Cola bought Dasani, I feel like it tasted amazing. And then Coca-Cola bought it, and it just started tasting like trash. But I just try to filter my water, but I drink whatever's around if it's there. Let's see, where are we at? Someone said I love beef brisket. I know, I'm getting hungry. I barely ate all day. After this, I'm gonna eat. Now I kind of want a beef brisket grilled cheese with tomato soup. I should start selling stuff. I'm trying to get merch together, but I don't want to launch like a trashy merch brand. I want it to be cool, and I want to do other things, but I'm so torn. But like, I wish I was sponsored by like Denny's. Not Denny's, it's not that, but you know, I would love to sell like a beef brisket. Like, just talking about it, I'm selling myself. I'm just like, man, you just see it in the tomato soup, you know what I'm saying? With little basil on top. Stop. Come on. Anybody who's got something to sell, throw it my way. But I'm not gonna sell like crappy things, so it's gotta be good. I'm not gonna be like, listen, give your DNA to the government. Trust me, it's good for you. I'm just like, no. How do I feel about the Virginia and the gun control situation? It's alarming, but you know, I'm not worried about America in that department, because there's so many guns and so many people that aren't gonna give up their guns. Like, I'm not scared of that. You know, like Beto. Oh no, Beto's gonna disarm Texas. Yeah, okay. Same with Virginia. Like, I don't know what they're trying to do, but like, good luck. You know, I'll watch it on Twitter, and we'll see what happens. Good luck though. So I wouldn't say I'm very worried about it. It's alarming that they're trying to do that, but I'm more worried about free speech. Even if they stop selling guns tomorrow, there's already so many guns. And trust me, they're not stopping selling guns. Every time they do one of these things, they sell more guns. Beto goes on TV, we're going to take your AK-47s. He's like an AK-47 salesman. It's like millions of them were sold. Like, Beto never wins elections, but he sells guns. He's just a gun salesman in disguise. So I'm not even worried about it. Even if tomorrow you had a tyrannical president that's like, nobody can buy more guns ever, which isn't happening. There's already so many guns. What are they going to do? They're really going to try to disarm everybody? It's not going to happen. So to me, it's just laughable. What was that? I grew up on fluoride, Fruity Pebbles, and Frosted Flakes. Fluoride, Fruity Pebbles, and Frosted Flakes. That's kind of true. I laughed at that. I was like, wait, that's kind of what I ate. Oh well. They're like, Fruity Pebbles, red dye number 7, blue dye number 8, pesticides. You're like, oh yeah, Fruity Pebbles, this stuff tastes like candy. I was laughing the other day about how bad those cereals are. Like, they're like Reese's Puffs. They're just like, doesn't your kid want to eat chocolate and peanut butter in the morning? It's like, fuck yeah. Yeah, I want to eat chocolate and peanut butter. Who the fuck doesn't? And then they make you seem like a bad parent if you don't give your kids Cookie Crisp. It went from like Cheerios, they're like, look, we got the Bumblebee for the kids. Cheerios, they're hearty and healthy, even though they're not really. Like, Cheerios, they're like, yeah, this Bumblebee is just so stellar. I want all these boxes. And then they just like slowly got more degenerate, where they're just like, Cookie Crisp. They're like the kids eating cookies in the morning. And then you're like, Billy gets to eat cookies in the morning. Why don't I get Cookie Crisp? How come I don't get Reese's Puffs and freaking Rice Krispie Treat cereal? They're like, because I don't want you to eat that. Like, who eat? And then they marketed I used to eat pizza bagels. Everyone knows you're not supposed to eat pizza in the morning unless you're like hungover or you ordered it the last night. But their commercials said, pizza in the morning, pizza in the evening, pizza at supper time. When pizza's on a bagel, you can eat pizza anytime. So they're just like, we put it on a bagel so you can eat it anytime. It's like, that's not even remotely true. They're just like selling the shit out of it. Look, I put ice cream in a cup. Now you could drink it like coffee. Drink ice cream in the morning. You can have it. It's in the. It's so hilarious. Cookie Crisp. I was like, oh my god, cookies! I want that. It's terrible. All right, I'm gonna read Leanne. She seems to know a lot. The Virginia governor and lawmakers are attempting to pass laws to make the majority of guns illegal. They say they will use force with National Guard if you don't comply. I mean, is the National Guard really going to take people's guns away? That's my question. I've always thought this because, like, you know, during Obama, listen, I've been around the block. I watched conspiracy videos. Everyone was like, oh my God, martial law is coming, you know, Obama, martial law. And I was always thinking, would the police turn against the people? Would the military turn against the people? Maybe, but I don't see it. You get what I'm saying? So that I'm not too worried about it, because like We'll see. But is the National Guard, do you think the National Guard likes guns or doesn't like guns? So would they disarm people? I don't know. We'll find out. Good luck. 5G, I'm not worried about 5G. I got 99 problems and 5G is not one. I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just not worried about it. I got enough on my plate. If it's bad, it's too late. If it's good, for sure. You know, I don't have very big. I'm sure knowing everything they do, there's a possibility, yeah, it could be terrible. But my mindset too is like, there's so much bad stuff in the world. I'm trying to power through it. So it's like, if I can't beat it, you know, if I can't do anything about it, I'm not going to freak out about it. And I think a lot of people who are like very conscious and spiritual, sometimes they drive themselves crazy, where sometimes your mindset could be more, you know, inflict more harm on you than the actual thing that you're worried about. So, you know, I see that trend a lot. So I think if it's bad, I'm going to power through it. If it's not as bad as they say, then it's not as bad as they say. But I can't really stop it, you know? I can only hope that it's on the better side. God bless Anchorage. Look, we got Alaska on the hat. Yes, sir. Anchorage in the house. I'm big repping all over the world with this hat. I like it. I bought it for $5 or $4 or so. Maybe it was like $3. I was like, is this hat really $3? And I keep getting compliments. They're like, what is that, Gucci? I'm like, might be. JCPenney's? I don't know. You got a penny? That was a terrible joke. Move on. Next question. We'll be all right. We'll be all right. I'm not worried about it. Someone said, dude, you need to learn more about it then. Listen, I've watched dozens of 5G videos. It is what it is. I'm not like, what are you gonna do about it? You gonna unplug are you gonna dig through the earth and disarm every 5G that they've already put in the ground? I'm not saying it's good. I'm not worried about it. You get what I'm saying? I'm gonna be all right. And if I'm not, then I'm not. You know, I had a good life. I just went on a cruise. It's lit. Someone said it's as bad as they say. Listen, then move to the woods, you know, move away from 5G if it's that bad. I'm not being sarcastic, I'm being serious. Someone said, hey, I'm 66, I will live past average and I'll eat what I want. There you go. A lot of it's genetics and mindset too. There's like, I saw this guy who was like 120 or something, and he was like, every day I drink whiskey and I smoke a cigar and I puff it and I eat Campbell's soup 4 times a day. And I'm like, the fuck? You know? And he lived till he was like 120. Someone said, anomaly on that third eye alien shit, 5G ain't nothing. That's the thing. I'm like, I'm not saying I'm an alien, you know, but I'm just saying like, you feel, you know, like there's 5G, like if you can't see it right now, but like there's 5G, like here, I'll just show you, like this is all 5G, but I'm just like, it sees me, and then it hears Bob Ross one time through the speakers, and it's like, oh fuck, the vibes are too high here, the vibrations are too high, we gotta go that way, and then the 5G just gets the fuck away from my head. So I'm alright. I'm sorry to curse, but you feel me? 5G ain't no thing. Scotty Bowen said, hey, I'm 34 and Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. Doesn't get old. Someone said, move to Alaska if you're afraid of 5G. Listen, I'm not afraid of anything. I mean, that's not anything, but listen, I'm good. I'm all right. I stretch. I'll be fine. I stretch sometimes. I stretch my hands out. Every time I stretch 5G, I'm like, you know, I do one of those and 5G's like, oh shit. That's Anomaly doing yoga. I don't really do yoga, but I should. Someone said, Anomaly, can we get a 2020 rap album? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to work on new music this year. Cranking out videos. Bigger, better, stronger, faster, realer. You know, we're doing everything this year. So I'm going to try to crush it. But I'm also trying to travel a lot. My thing is, too, because a lot of people probably think I'm out just, like, wasting money. I mean, sometimes I spend money, but I'm pretty frugal and I'm pretty smart, but you know, I work from the computer, so even when I travel, it doesn't really cost that much. So like, you know, I got a friend who lives in Hawaii and it's actually cheaper to visit. So you get what I'm saying? So I'm gonna do a lot of traveling, trying to have fun. but at the same time have a good work ethic, do music and stuff. I'm not gonna get lazy or like complacent, but you know, I worked very hard in my 20s. I skipped vacations. I never traveled because I was always like, if I'm a musician, I shouldn't be traveling. I should get to the point where I travel for music. So you get what I'm saying? I skipped a lot. Now that I'm 30 and I never went to like spring break in college or when I was younger, I never did any of that. So now I'm trying to get my money's worth, my life worth. Let's see, where we at? Someone said the $1 billion man. Are you hope you're not talking about me. I definitely do not have $1 billion. That's fake news. The videos are not going that good. They're like, dude, Anomaly's got $1 billion. Let's start that rumor. No, then I'll lose all my funding. But just start the dude. You know Anomaly from Facebook? Yeah, dude. He made $1 billion on his videos. $1 billion? Are you sure, dude? He's not that big. No, trust me, dude. He said he had $1 billion on this. They like do a background check. They're like, no, that's not true. If I had $1 million, that was a good song. I'd buy. James Blau said, did you figure out the most important thing in our lives is the writ of habeas corpus yet? I'm not sure if it was you, but I feel like you said that 2 live streams ago. I'm not sure if that was you, but it was the same type of approach. They're like, Anomaly, when are you going to stop covering up habeas corpus? I've said it like 30 times. It's just I can't say it every day. I have videos talking about habeas corpus in like 2016, so I get it. Obama rearranged it, and it's very tyrannical. Look it up. That's all I can do. People think like I'm gonna like shit. I mean, I do what I can, but it's like, you know, I can't overturn habeas corpus or re-overturn it. Scott said, you're so eloquent with words, I wish more people would listen. We got enough people, trust me. I mean, you know, it could always be more, but I'm okay. I was away for a week on a cruise and I was somewhere else. I got recognized like 6 or 7 times, like everywhere I go. So I don't think people are listening. I can't go anywhere, which is fine. They're not being mean. It's like a good thing, but I'm just saying, it's not like nobody's listening. I feel like everyone's listening. I was on a beach in Florida. There were only like 2 people on the beach, literally. It was an empty beach, and the lady turns around and was like, oh my God, Anomaly, and ran up to me, and there's only 2 people there. So I think our message is getting very widespread. It's a little scurry, but it's nice, it's good. And people listen too, like, you know, people are tuned in. We're really popping out here, dog. 2020, man, we global. Man, we got the streets of Nigeria lit off this Anomaly shit. Liberty rising worldwide. Someone said, were you getting hit on? No, I wasn't getting hit. It was just like a woman. She was with a guy, though. He seemed a little salty, to be honest, because they were having like a nice beach thing. She was like, oh my God, Anomaly, and gave me a hug and wanted to take a picture. And I feel like her guy was just like looking at me like, who does this guy think he is? You know, it was kind of like that vibe. He wasn't mean or anything, but I felt bad. Like, she was super amped, and he was like, listen, I drove you all the way to Florida for a picnic for this guy to come up and steal the show. So it was kind of like that. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it kind of felt like that. My grandkids saw you when I shared your videos. Now they love you. Awesome, Richard. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. That's how it works. We're in the family tree. You know what I'm saying? We get in the roots, and then we branch out. We got grandmas, grandpas, fathers, mothers, kids. It's popping out here. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Dwayne. I appreciate it. Spreading gaps and taking naps. Dude, stop. Donald, you got to chill, fam. It's not that type of stream, homie. We're not doing that. Scotty said, do you like Ben Shapiro or had any discussions with him? I would love to chat with Ben Shapiro. Do I like him? Not really, no. You know, much love to him and Daily Wire. I was on Andrew Klavan's show. I like Andrew Klavan. He's a nice guy. And the Daily Wire staff was nice to me. But do I like Shapiro? No. He's probably, you know, I don't like to be negative, you know me, but he's probably like my least favorite conservative or news person. I feel like he's very sneaky, very, very shady, and very disingenuous, and very, you know, I'm not a fan. But, you know, I'm not a hater. I'm not trying to be negative here, but no, I can't stand the guy. But I'd love to have a debate with him. But I don't think he wants to debate me. I think that kind of clique of like the Shapiros and the Turning Points, I think they like want to have all the show, and I think they want to like frame it where it's like them versus like the left, you know what I'm saying? Like it's us versus the left, and anybody else outside of us is like a neo-Nazi, anti-Semite, white supremacist or something. Their vibes are kind of creeping me out, I'm not gonna lie. I'm more of like a Tucker Carlson. I like Tucker. Laura Ingraham, I mean, not only did she have me on her show, but she really impressed me with that interview, you know? I think that shows the difference between a true patriot and a journalist and just another, you know, sneak. I was like, wow, look at Laura go there, because she's a feisty woman, that Laura, you know what I'm saying? Like she could jump down your throat, and she was not holding back against the president. I was like, Laura, babe, not babe, you know, she's probably married too. I'm being disrespectful, but you know what I'm saying. Have you ever discussed the chip? Do you think it's in the near future? Yeah, don't get a chip in your hand. I think that's just common knowledge. I've posted something about it, but yeah, I'm not getting a chip in my hand or like anywhere. It's terrible. Someone said, I think Shapiro's full of good energy like you. Listen, I'm not trying to tell you who to like and dislike. I just feel like Ben, what's really bothered me about him and the Turning Point type people is I know some of them, and you know, I'm not a big drama or a mean guy. I'm really not, but like I feel like they don't actually believe in anything that they say they believe in. You know what I'm saying? Like their biggest talking points are like America first. I don't think they're even remotely America first. I think they're like America second. They say they believe in free speech. You know what I'm saying? They want to preserve the First Amendment. They don't believe in any of that stuff. They constantly push hate speech propaganda for anti-Semitism, because Ben Shapiro loves Israel more than he likes the United States. So he's willing to turn against the First Amendment for his own race or religion, and then constantly just say that the left is doing it. So that's my thing. It's not that I just think they're very sneaky. I think they're anti-First Amendment. Some of them are anti-Second Amendment. They're not America first, and their foreign policy, I think Ben Shapiro's foreign policy is horrible. Although I will say he had a really good tweet recently about Iran. Give him props. But it's like, to me, I think, and you have to understand too, I know a lot of people in these inner circles, and I see how they act. They're like these gatekeepers kind of, where like they're not pro First Amendment, but if you are, like say you are who they pretend to be, say you actually believe in the First Amendment and you're America first, they call you a white nationalist, a white supremacist, and a neo-Nazi. I'm not talking about the left wing. I'm not talking about the Democrats. I'm talking about Ben Shapiro and these like little sneaky Republicans. That's why he's a smart guy, you know what I'm saying? He makes good content, but they kind of lost my favor when I realized that they don't actually believe in anything that they claim to believe in. It's all like a funnel Ponzi scheme to get you to support Israel. Like that's all they do. It's like everything that Prager and TPUSA and Ben say they believe in, they literally don't. Like they literally will just like usher in hate speech regulation and say people need to get deplatformed, they shouldn't have a place in the Republican Party, they're alt-right, they're neo-Nazis, they're white supremacists. And really what they are is people who are talking about demographics, immigration, legal immigration, the stuff that Laura Ingraham was talking about, the stuff that Tucker Carlson talks about, and also just things that will keep America not turning into a third world country. Like very basic conservative values, they not only don't agree with, but they actively try to keep these people out of events, out of media, out of stardom, out of, you know, major roles. They're very, very deceptive in my opinion. That's why I don't dislike them. I think, you know, I think Tucker and Laura, people putting pressure on them is getting them to shift a little bit, which is good. But, you know, I kind of lost interest in them when I realized that their whole kind of setup is not even every conservative value that they pretend to believe in, they don't. And it's, you know, it's disappointing to say the least. And I'm not trying to make it a big thing because people are just like, oh my God, I love him. I'm like, that's fine. I don't want you to dislike people. I want you to love who you love. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's like, it's disappointing. Let's see, what are we talking about? Someone said the Constitution has been in the garbage can since they stopped hearing writs of habeas corpus. For sure. I mean, every president kind of sells out the Constitution a little bit. And that's where Trump, you know, I was super pumped. And here's the thing with Trump too. I was super pumped when he won, you know, not exactly when the day he won, but like as he started getting in the office, I started learning more. I was like, wow, this guy really is who I thought Bernie might be. I think he's the outsider. But even he's like raising the smoking age. You know what I'm saying? He's doing the $1 trillion spending bills. He's tweeting in Arabic right now at Iranians saying he believes in free speech and they shouldn't lose the internet. Meanwhile, we don't even have free speech or the internet in our own country. And he's and his people are helping sell out the First Amendment for these anti-Semitism, hate speech, Orwellian laws that are basically the Sharia law of Judaism influence in American anti-First Amendment politics. And it's just like when I say I want free speech in America, I'm not anti-Muslim. I'm pro-America. I'm America first. I'm free speech. I'm not anti-Judaism. I love Jewish people. I just don't want to lose the First Amendment. It's very simple. But if you say that, it's not even popular on the right now. So that kind of has changed my perspective over the last few months. I'm not hating on Trump or Shapiro or Charlie Kirk or Prager or anything, but it's like every value that they pretend to believe in, they're selling out just like every president before. We slowly lose the Constitution. We slowly lose the First Amendment, and Trump's more concerned with the First Amendment in Iran than he is in America. It's like he's trying to regime change Iran from the inside out. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? Focus on our country. It's like, I actually believe the people, and then people get mad at me like I'm not a patriot, because I actually believe in the values that they pretend to believe in. The difference between me is I bust my ass and make videos by myself and am owned and controlled by no one, and they siphon in hundreds of millions of dollars from big donors and are controlled, so they have agendas just like the left wing has agendas. Trust me, they have big strings being pulled there as well. And it happens that a lot of the people with the money in the Republican Party, they don't care about free speech. A lot of Republicans don't even care about mass immigration. That's why Laura was so hardcore at Trump, because it's like Trump ran on America first, anti-mass immigration that's reckless, and now he's doing it. The only one I think that recently stood against it was the Texas Governor Abbott. He actually did what Republicans said they were going to do. I think the Tennessee governor's for it. All these other, Republicans, they don't believe in anything they claim to believe in. So it's like it's not a hateful thing, but it's like when that becomes status quo, and anybody who tries to influence them, they start calling like nationalists and supremacists. I'm the furthest thing from a nationalist, like regardless of skin color. I don't even like that word, but it's like I believe in free speech. Does that make me the enemy of the new right wing? You get what I'm saying? Even Trump's getting mad at Matt Gaetz. It's like, dude, we're doing what you said you were going to do. It's okay if you don't do it, but you can't. Someone said lobbyists should be illegal. I mean, maybe. How do you make it illegal? I know it's definitely shady and it's all wrong, but like lobbyists don't just control politicians. Lobbyists also control media. You have to understand a lot of these big, even new age right-wing stuff, they got their, like the Daily Wire got their backing from big donors. You look into that. The TPUSA, they have a lot of big donors. I'm not saying they don't do better work than liberals sometimes, but when they go against free speech, there's a reason. You know what I'm saying? It's because that's what they're doing. If I got $100 million and people said anomaly, we want to start a war with Iran, we're going to sell out the First Amendment for anti-Semitism laws, and we're going to call everyone anti-Semites, maybe I do it. If I got $100 million to do it, yeah, for sure, I love Israel, I'll do it. It's not a hate or love thing. It's just like, I wouldn't do that. You get what I'm saying? I'm just saying maybe I do that, but I wouldn't do that. I'm just saying people do that, even people you like. Or maybe they think that's a good idea. But you have to understand with me too, I have a lot of friends that I love that we disagree on certain things, and we respect each other enough, and I've talked to enough people who work with these organizations, that I really like and respect, and I appreciate what they're doing. I've talked to them and they've talked to me and they've said, Anomaly, thank you so much for what you're doing, because I haven't heard that perspective. I kind of break the echo chamber, but I hear from them, their mindset, and I'm telling you, just to be honest, they care about popularity, fame, money, and being accepted in the right-wing group more than they care about the First Amendment. And it's a trend I'm noticing widespread. I'm not knocking people that I like, but I talk to them and I'm like, you don't believe in anything you claim to believe in. And they act like I'm the crazy one because they want to go to Mar-a-Lago. They want to go to the White House. They want Charlie Kirk to like them. They want Ben Shapiro to fly them on their private jet. They want all the girls, you know what I'm saying? They want all the cute conservative girls that go to Turning Point events. So they sell out their own belief system to buy into what the big donors are saying. And it's people that I like, you know, but it's like I talk to them, they're literally telling me this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just like assuming. They're like telling me this. They're like, yeah, but you know, I'm flying on the jet. You know, well, they have these big events. You know, I'm like, so you don't actually care about the First Amendment? Well, I do, but like, you know, hate speech is bad sometimes. It's like, then you don't care about the First Amendment. If you get what I'm saying? So I'm not knocking people. There's a lot of great people, but I'm America first. I'm free speech first. I'm truth first. You know, it's all love, but there's no love if there's no freedom of speech. If you don't have freedom in this country, nothing matters. If you pretend to be against mass immigration, but you're shifting the demographics of Florida, Texas, California, and the rest of the country, your conservative views don't matter because you're going to be blue soon. You know what I'm saying? And then if you talk about demographics, they say, oh my God, he's a white nationalist. It's like they talk about the same stuff with Israel because all the big donors, most of them are Israel first donors. So that's why the Republicans are so obsessed with Israel. One, biblical reasons, you know what I'm saying, and religious reasons, but another is that's where the money's coming from. The thing is, I'm not a big fan of Iran, but if these donors told people that Afghanistan is the biggest threat, all the Republican influencers would be saying Afghanistan's the biggest threat, and they'd be pushing Afghanistan memes. If they told them it was Libya, they'd think it's Libya. I'm not saying Iran is innocent, but I'm saying most of these people, they only know what they're told because they're funded and controlled to say that, and a lot of them are just followers. I guarantee you, none of these kids knew who Soleimani was before 2 weeks ago. No one knew who the guy was. And then all of a sudden, they're posting memes about him. I get it, but it's like, you could convince them that anyway, you know, it's easy. It's like that person. Okay, well, I'll say that, you know. You get what I'm saying? So it is a problem at a certain. That's why you see Laura Ingraham, Tucker Carlson, and that's big. Laura Ingram's a powerhouse. Tucker Carlson's a powerhouse. Those are two of the biggest people in Republican media who are going against that conservative group that's Trump, Turning Point. You know, like they're like, guys, and that's big because if I say something, they cannot invite me to events. If someone else says something, they can call him a supremacist. But if Tucker Carlson and Laura Ingraham disagree with you, now they're starting to back up and be like, you know what? Maybe I should be America first. It's like, yeah, you should. That's what you say you are. Why wouldn't you be? You get what I'm saying? You guys get it. You're smart. Hold on, I want to read that. That's pretty funny. So it said, where are all the cute guys? Oh, I forget their balls were taken away and turned into a feminist. That's pretty funny. Rose said, okay, so you think Soleimani was dangerous? I mean, I don't think he was a great guy, but honestly, if you really want my perspective, I think Trump was pressured to do that. I think the people who surrounded Trump have been wanting him to do stuff like that for the first 2 years, and he campaigned against that. But when impeachment's looming down your neck and you got Republicans looming down your neck, you know, it makes it a lot harder to stand on your own. So I think Trump was a lot more, I don't think the timing was coincidental at all. I don't think like he just did something like 2 weeks ago. Oh my God, like now it's a problem. Iran's been a U.S., you know, we've been beefing with Iran for a while. But here's the thing too. That guy was fighting ISIS. I hate to break this to people, and I'm not saying it makes us bad or it makes Soleimani or Iran good. I don't think that at all. But I don't think we were fighting ISIS like you think we were fighting ISIS. I think we were funding and supporting and in some ways emboldening and creating ISIS because ISIS fights Iran. ISIS fights Syria. Syria's trying to fight ISIS. Iran's trying to fight ISIS. We're not trying to fight ISIS. We use ISIS to fight them because we want to take over Syria. You know what I'm saying? We don't like Iran, so we don't. It's confirmed that our allies in Israel have said, we prefer ISIS over Iran. That's what the defense minister said. He said, I'd rather have ISIS there than Iran. It's not a secret. So I think that's the thing. It's like, I'm not saying America's bad. I'm not saying Iran's good. I'm not saying Soleimani's good. I don't think that at all. But you have to understand the dynamics of it. you can get Republicans to think anything. You get what I'm saying? Like, we're fighting ISIS. Every Republican meme was about ISIS. You never saw a Soleimani meme until that happened, obviously. But you get what I'm saying? Like, where are the ISIS memes? No one even cares about ISIS anymore. They might grow bigger. It's happened multiple times when we've done stuff. When we invaded Syria, ISIS grew. When we invaded Libya, terrorists grew. This could embolden, when we killed Saddam Hussein, it only emboldened Iran. You know what I'm saying? Saddam was beefing with Iran. Saddam's gone, Iran got bigger. So every move we've made in the Middle East, the people that we hate the most have grown. You get what I'm saying? So this move, I'm not saying he's a good guy, but you take out the guy who's fighting ISIS. If ISIS returns and now ISIS takes over Iraq and parts of Syria again, you'll know why. You know what I'm saying? And it's not because of other people. So I think that's kind of the conversation I'm trying to get along. Is like and now here's another thing. I believe in free speech. I'm against social media. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram are now working hand in hand with the US government to delete any posts that disagree with their analysis of Soleimani. I'm not a fan of the guy. I don't know much about him at all. I've never even thought about him before 2 weeks ago. But I believe in free speech. You're not going to hear a single Republican, maybe the ones that they call far right, the only ones you're going to hear talk about this stuff. Trump's not going to talk about it. He's talking about free speech in Iran. We're losing free speech here. If you don't have the free speech to say what you want about Soleimani, you don't have free speech. Free speech is not for people you agree with. It's for the unpopular opinions. So once again, Republican Trump president, we're losing more freedom. We're getting censored more. The internet's taking more control, and no Republican cares about it. They just don't. So it's like, that's my analysis of the whole thing. It's like, yeah, bad guy taken out. But Saddam, I'm not a Saddam fanatic. Saddam was probably a bad guy. Hold on. Saddam gets taken out and Iran gets emboldened. Bashar al-Assad gets attacked, ISIS gets emboldened. Gaddafi gets taken out, Libya is full of terrorists and slavery. So it's a lot more nuanced. It's like, yeah, we killed them, we're Republican. These people suck. They'll do anything for money. They don't care about anything. They don't care about the First Amendment. They don't care. They probably care about the Second Amendment, but they don't care about America First. They'll do anything to go to Mar-a-Lago or CPAC. Anything. They don't care about anything. And they could be told anything. Here's $50. Post this video about Soleimani. Here's what you're supposed to believe this week. Here's the guy that's bad. They'll do anything. They don't have morals or integrity. They just pretend to. Not everyone, but I'm just saying this is a conversation people need to have, because I have this conversation with people and then they're like, I've never heard that before. And I'm like, I know you've never heard it before because they don't allow it into right-wing echo chambers. All right, let's read some more comments and we'll roll out. Someone said they showed in an article the proof of the attack coming today. I'll have to check it out. Absolutely, the guy, I'm not sitting here saying he's not a threat. He could have absolutely been a threat. But also, a lot of people don't like America because we haven't helped as much as you think we've helped in certain areas. I don't think we helped in Libya. I don't think we helped in Syria. I actually know we did the opposite of really help. We kind of screwed up Syria, and you have to understand when we screwed up Syria, that's why there was a big refugee crisis. So if you're wondering why Germany, Sweden, Canada, America has been forced to take in millions of refugees, many of which weren't even from Syria. A lot of them were from other countries. A lot of them were terrorists in the US, in Canada, in Germany, in Sweden. You all know this. Why did that happen? Because we destabilized Syria. We worked with terrorist organizations one way or another, whether it was through a proxy war or just fighting them while we're fighting them, we helped create that mess that destroyed also the Western civilization. So it's not just the Middle East. So that's the thing with Soleimani. I'm not saying he's a good guy, but listen, you take him out, if ISIS grows again, this is not the first time we've seen that. We did it with Saddam. We did it with Gaddafi, we did it in Syria, and it's destroyed not only the Middle East more and done nothing to really, I'm sure it's going to be a mess there anyway, but we've also destroyed a lot of the Western world past the point of almost no return due to our failed foreign policy. That's what Trump ran against. Trump ran against that type of foreign policy. That's why he won, among other reasons. He's getting pressured by the people he ran against. And I think they're using impeachment personally to do it. And now he's working with Google and YouTube and Facebook. They're saying, oh, if you disagree with Trump on Soleimani, you're going to be censored. Yeah, of course. Someone said America's an oil company with a military. It's more than an oil company too. It's I mean, I would say America is an oil company run by a lot of lobbyists, military-industrial complex, big pharma, and also our allies. And in my opinion, the reason that they're trying to pass these anti-Semitism laws is so much is not for the deli owner or your average, Jewish American patriot who's just trying to vibe out in Florida or New Jersey or whatever. They're passing these anti-Semitism laws because Zionist control over America is massive. A lot of what we do in foreign policy isn't even for oil, it's for the Zionist agenda. So that's why they're passing the laws. It's not for your average, Jewish person getting bullied in New York. It's terrible what's happening to the Orthodox in New York. It's for the bigwigs, it's for the Rothschilds, it's for the Soros, it's for the Susan Wojcicki's, and it's for the, Trump administration's massive Zionist agenda of Trump, Pompeo, Kushner, Lindsey Graham, and those type of people. That's why there's speech laws being passed. They don't pass speech laws for people. Whether it's Muslims trying to pass speech laws, Zionists trying to pass speech laws, Democrats trying to pass speech laws, for this group, for that group, for the black, for Hispanic, it's not for you. Whether you're black or Hispanic or Jewish or not, they're not passing speech laws for you. They just know that people are foolish enough to pass speech laws if you package it in that way. And that's also, these Republicans and Trump are packaging speech laws in that way, and Republicans are eating it up, unfortunately. And I'm not. Is America the muscle and world police? You could say that. We definitely, listen, it's good to be strong. I'm not mad that America's strong. We're definitely a force to be reckoned with. We have a phenomenal military. We have patriots all over the world. We have amazing, brave people and intelligent people and high-tech stuff. I'm not mad at that. I'm glad America is extremely strong. We're definitely the muscle of the world for sure. And, for me, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just how you use it. If you use your muscle to destabilize Syria, that then destabilizes your country, that's not good muscle power. You get what I'm saying? But if you use your muscle to protect the weak and the innocent, then it's good muscle power. But I would say under Bush and Obama, and even now we're flirting on the edge of it now, it's like we used our muscle to create more chaos for people. You get what I'm saying? When Big Pharma does something, they're not doing it for you. They're doing it because it makes more money. So even if you like Trump or Republicans, or you like Democrats, or you like whoever you like, right? Like people find a politician they like and just they're like salesmen. They sell them the story, and then people are like, oh, they're doing it for me. They're not doing it for you. They're doing it for a small group of people or a big money agenda. Hopefully it benefits the U.S. Hopefully it's money that benefits the U.S., but most likely it's not. I think they've shown time and time again that certain interest groups have a lot of a lot more agenda than just like helping the common man. But we'll see. All right, I'll answer one more question. We'll take off. Thank you guys for listening. Anomaly, what about the FEMA camps? I'm not worried about it. I mean, I've heard it, I've seen it, but it's like 5G, Bring it on. I'm not worried about it. Someone said if you needed to, I'll answer two more questions. This is not the last one. If you needed to move to another country, which country would you move to? I don't know. I'm not trying to leave America for sure. So I love America. I like it here. So I haven't even thought about ever moving country. I would only move states. But I don't know. That's a good question. I haven't traveled enough. I'm not really that experienced where I know where I would like to be. Let's see, one more. We'll answer one more and then I gotta go. All right, I'm gonna read this. We're gonna end on Kathy's comment. I think that's a level one. Kathy said, give President Trump some respect, some trust. He's doing a fantastic job. He has fought so many battles while keeping his campaign promises. Don't sail him down the river. It's a good one to end on. So, Kathy, here's the thing. I've given Trump more credit than most. I've launched careers of people like Candace Owens, and Brandon Straka. I'm not saying I did it, but I'm saying I helped them. I helped a lot of patriots who are doing big things. I've got millions of people probably to shift their opinion on President Trump. I've done more than most people for his cause. So I'm not turning my back on him or sailing him down the river. I think I've done enough to this point where even if I hated him, which I don't, I still have done so much for him. I don't think I could ever undo that. However, I can't pretend like selling out the First Amendment is cool because Trump does it. It's not cool. He's fighting battles, but if he's fighting the First Amendment, I'm never going to think that's cool. And I'm not saying he might do that. He's already doing it. His Zionist influence and his Zionist agenda supersedes the First Amendment of our country. And I'm sorry, there's not a single country on this planet, including on my own, that I want to give free speech away from. That's not what George Washington, Thomas Jefferson didn't say, it's okay if Trump gives away the First Amendment for Zionists because, Trump's done a lot of work. They didn't say that. They warned you that this would happen. We've lost freedom. We have Trump, who's doing an amazing job, but he needs to be challenged when he sells out the First Amendment. He needs to be challenged when he's working, now his agenda is working hand in hand with the internet companies in the criticisms against or in support of Iran. I'm not supporting Iran, but that's your First Amendment right to do that. You could yell at somebody, you could hate them, but you can't take away their right to do that. Facebook's working with Trump now, and he's not going to say anything about it because he likes people who agrees with him. He's talking about Iranian internet freedom. He's done virtually nothing to stop Google. What they're doing has to be illegal. The way they're manipulating their algorithms and censoring and demonizing people and demonetizing them and rigging traffic away from them, when they're admitting Google's rigging YouTube against people who don't break their policies. A policeman would not get away in court if he gave you a fine for not breaking the law. Google can't do it. They shouldn't be allowed to do this. They're insanely tyrannical. They've only gotten worse. What they're doing is not remotely fair, and Trump is only adding to that problem. You get what I'm saying? Free speech is, to me, the most important thing, that and the Second Amendment. So I'm not knocking them, but when I see these big donor, big interest groups pretend to be conservative, not actually conserve anything, I know, you got to understand, like, you guys watch their videos. I know these people. I talk to these people. They don't care about the First Amendment. If they did, I would just tell you. I know that they don't. I have conversations with people who work with them. They don't care. So I care about the First Amendment. Does Trump care about the First Amendment? We'll find out. But as a citizen, it's not I'm not here. Like, some people, their job, they're professional dick riders, They're professional cheerleaders. That's their job. They put on the pom-poms, and no matter what Trump does, they say it's great. Sell the First Amendment, it's great. They don't know anything. They just know what they're professional cheerleaders. And that's fine. Every sports team needs a cheerleader. You know what I'm saying? The Dallas Cowboys need male and female cheerleaders. But I'm not a cheerleader. You get what I'm saying? I'm a player. But I crush a lot. Never mind. But so it's not my job is not to think that's cool. I like the president. I appreciate what he's doing, but that is not cool. It's never going to be cool, and it's alarming to me that if Trump does it, Turning Point does it, Daily Wire does it, Blaze TV does it, and PragerU all says it at the same time. They have so much power on the conservative side. You get maligned if you're Tucker Carlson or anybody who dares stand up for what they pretend to believe in. So now, combined with all these news organizations and Trump, add in Fox News, besides Tucker Carlson and a few others, you're talking about like 99% of Republican media versus 1%. But the 99%'s wrong. And the reason that they're wrong is not because President Trump's a bad guy. It's not because President Trump hasn't done stuff. It's not because Charlie's a bad guy or Ben Shapiro's a terrible guy. It's because money is speaking to them, or connections or power speaking to them, and they need help. They need me or Tucker Carlson to be like, selling out the First Amendment's not cool. It's not going to help Jewish American citizens. It's not even going to help Israel. I don't think it's even remotely helping gain them favor in America or in the world. So it's like, it's not a good, it's like fighting with Syria. I don't like Bashar al-Assad. I don't know anything about Syria, but if you destabilize the region, create a refugee crisis, then send all the refugees and fake refugees, 60% of them, 40% of them, in a lot of cases, in a lot of studies, they're not even real refugees. They're just random people who are using it to get a free ride to these countries. That's not good. If Trump did that or Obama, I can't just sit here and be like, oh, that's cool because he took out the leader, the terrorist leader. No, Bashar al-Assad keeps that region stable. Saddam Hussein kept Iran in check. Gaddafi kept Libya stable. When you take all that out, you create chaos and it leaks into the Western world. So that's not cool. And, anti-First Amendment stuff is not cool. It doesn't help people. It doesn't help citizens. It doesn't help the people it's supposed to. It shows, and that scares me when the Republican, not really scares me, but when all the Republicans are like, Anomaly, don't say that. What's the point of being a conservative if you don't believe in the First Amendment? You're a cheerleader. Change your name, not saying you, but don't say Republican, conservative, constitutionalist. Change your bio to Trump cheerleader, money grabber, donor collector, popularity. I care about popularity more than concern. That's fine. If you change your bio to that, I'll have no problem. You're a cheerleader. You care about fame, popularity, money, and getting invited places more than you care about the Constitution. Then you could do. But if you pretend to be a constitutionalist and a conservative, and you can't even conserve anything, you can't stop mass immigration. You can't stop the refugee crisis. You can't even build the wall. I mean, Trump keeps saying he built it. Follow Ann Coulter on Twitter. She's actually following it. He's got like this much funding. He's built this much of the wall. I know there's problems there. I'm not saying that, but it's like to act like this is all amazing. It's like, it's really not. And the anti-First Amendment thing, I'm never going to waver on that because I know what he's doing is not cool. And I know why he's doing it. I know who he's surrounded by. When you're surrounded by Pompeo, Lindsey Graham, Kushner, Sheldon Adelson giving you $100 million to fund your campaign, you might do that too. You might be like, you know what, maybe the First Amendment is a little flawed. Maybe we need to add some hate speech to it. I don't get that money, but if you got that money, you might change your tune too. And I'm telling you, from the Pragers to the Shapiros to the Charlie Kirks to the Trumps, they're getting that money. They're getting that power. So their views, like, you know what, maybe that's deplatforming is good if it's for us. It's like, it's not, so I'm not knocking Trump. I'm not sailing away, but if people's stance to me is like Anomaly, you have to think it's awesome that President Trump has turned his back on the First Amendment and most Republicans literally don't care about it. And I know they don't care about it because I talk to them. Then it's never going to be something I jive with. I'm going to be like, you know what? You're right. The First Amendment is overrated. My support for these, donor-backed organizations is more important than actually doing what the donor-backed organizations pretend to do. They don't care. They're like just there to, I don't know. And then if you challenge them, they freak out. It's like, this is not what we talked about. So, it's good. You can feel the way you feel. I'll feel the way I feel. We'll have a beautiful day. And I think Trump watches television and he listens to people. And if everybody says it's cool to do that, he'll do it. If people say it's not cool to do it, he won't do it. So we can't build this echo chamber of like anybody who disagrees with Trump is terrible because let's be honest, the spending bill was trash. His anti-First Amendment stuff is trash. The fact that social media now is censoring, look it up. You can't support Iran or Soleimani or else they're going to delete your post. That's not free speech. I don't support him. I don't support Iran, but I believe in people's right to do that. I don't boycott Israel. I'm not a BDS protester. I don't have that much to say about Israeli products if they work well, just like I don't boycott Chinese products. But if people do that, I don't care. To me, that's like, if you cannot boycott that, then they get into office and they could say, I can't boycott who I want to boycott. Who are they to tell me? Who am I to tell them what they should feel? I should be able to convince them of why they shouldn't feel that way. I shouldn't stop them from posting support of them. That's what Google and YouTube and Facebook are doing. So it's like, that's not cool. Censorship's not cool. Anti-First Amendment stuff's not cool. Having horrible immigration policy's not cool. putting America second or third or fourth is not cool. It's better than America 10,000th. That's like Democrats. They're like America 27th. And you're like, what? Or like America last. And you're like, no, they don't say that, but that's what I get from them. And then Trump's like says America first, and these organizations say America first, but I feel like it's more like America second or third, which is still good, you know, top three. But at the same time, it's like, it's okay to not follow suit. It's like, let's actually stand up for the Constitution. Let's stop pushing hate speech laws and go the other way. You get what I'm saying? I don't care that Iran turned off the internet in Iran. It's horrible. I feel terrible for the people of Iran. I care that the streets where I live are disgusting, and I care that my internet is being rigged. My free speech is not existent. I don't care what Palestine's doing or Iran's doing. If they're trying to attack the U.S., have at it. But if they're oppressing their own people, we have enough on our plate. We got to figure out. I don't care. So you get what I'm saying? It's like this whole agenda. It's like, well, Palestine doesn't treat gay people properly. I'm not saying that's good, but like America doesn't treat American citizens properly. America doesn't treat certain ethnicities properly. America doesn't treat certain genders properly, and America doesn't treat certain political views properly. So I could really give two shits about how Palestine treats their people if my own country is prioritizing their policies over our policies. So it's like, what about how America treats conservative values and popular culture? I don't care what happens in Iran as far as how they treat their people. Who am I to judge? There's pros and cons. When you live under Islamic Sharia law, there's going to be some pros, there's going to be some cons. You can hate on them, but I bet you they don't have the LGBT community promoting pedophilia. You could hate on them, but I bet you that there's more parents staying together. You can hate on them. I bet you in many areas there's probably less crime when they have high penalties for crime. But there's also going to be some negatives to Sharia law. So my job is not to judge Saudi Arabia or America and say, oh my God, Sharia law is bad. My job is to not let America become Sharia law, because I don't want that in America. So you get what I'm saying? It's like they turn America into places they pretend like they're fighting, and then they stand up and say, oh, we're against the Sharia law in Iran. Who cares? There's pros, there's cons. That's for them to decide. You know, they're not allowed to attack America, but outside of that, I could give two shits what Pakistan does. If they want to do Sharia law, let them do it. Just let them keep it there. What they do here is create refugee crises, bring it to our cities, and then act like they're fighting it. They're like, we're fighting Islam. We're fighting Islam. They did more to spread Islam all over the world than they're not fighting it. They spread it. In Syria, they didn't fight ISIS. ISIS took over. Syria, before I leave, Syria's president protects Christians. There's more Christians, or were before they got killed in this place, in Syria than anywhere else. It's probably one of the safest places to be a Christian until America came, and then all of a sudden ISIS took over major cities. How are you fighting Islam when you're spreading the most radical form of Islam? And not every form of Islam is that radical, but ISIS is. They are radical terrorists, and it is an extreme interpretation of the Quran, and we didn't really stop them that much, you know, until recently, I would say. So you get what I'm saying? It's not that I don't agree with what they're doing, but what I'm trying to say is a lot of, obviously, the Obama and Clinton administration, but also a lot of Republicans, they tell you they're fighting Islam, but they're spreading Islam. And I know it's a tough pill to swallow, because sometimes they don't care about America. They care about another country, and if America has to suffer and Europe has to suffer, they don't care. You know, a lot of people that are Israel first Zionists, they don't care that, you know, Europe is more Muslim and has more crime. They don't care that America's demographic shift to the point of no return. They care about Israel, and they could give two shits about Europe and America, which is fine, but then you're not America first. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of these Republicans, they tell you they're pro-First Amendment, but they don't care about the First Amendment. They tell you that they're anti-Islam, but they're anti-Islam in where they want it, and they don't care about the rest of the world. You know, they don't care about Syria, and they don't care about America. So that's the point I'm trying to get to. It's not that I'm fighting Trump or fighting Ben Shapiro. I just have kind of come to the conclusion that I'm not sure that they actually believe in what they said they believed in. So I'm trying to figure out, do you believe in it or not? And then I ask these questions, and people are like, anomaly, you have to respect the president. I respect the president. I show love to the president. I've helped him more than most people. But the First Amendment is not up for discussion. And I'm telling you, the more you get into it, you only see what I say. You see what Shapiro says. You see what Charlie Kirk says. You see what Trump says. You see what Don Jr. says. You see what the influencers say. But you don't know what goes on behind closed doors. You don't know what it's like in Republican politics. It's not like all purified because of Trump. There's a lot of swamp all over the place. I think you guys know that. But it's like, it's in some cases, it's worse than you think. I think a lot of people think, well, Trump's here and, you know, it's really cleared up a lot. Trump's here. He's trying. He's definitely, you know, getting swamp surrounded on all angles. But it's, in my opinion, I think it's worse than people think as far as like who actually cares about conservative values. And I want to say, and then I'm really going to leave. You remember John McCain, no disrespect, you know, God bless the guy. But when he was president, everybody loved him. Not everybody, but, and then you realized after 10 or 15 years of supporting him, he doesn't believe in anything he said he believed in. You know, as soon as Trump won, it's like, he's pro-Obamacare. He doesn't believe, it's like, okay, so what were you doing the last 15 years? He was just putting on an act, you know, putting on a show, being a politician. And that's a lot. I'm not a politician. I'm a music artist who just did this by mistake. A lot of people in politics want to be in politics. I don't want to be here. I don't want to run for office. I don't even want to do this. Other people, they go into politics. What type of people do you think go into politics? People that don't care, you know, people that can lie to you with a smile on their face, people that can accept money and tell you that. So all I'm saying is just be a little bit more critical of certain people, not hateful or negative, be nice and kind, but just because they say they believe in something doesn't mean they actually do it. Because sometimes they say one thing and then their actions show the other. And I think First Amendment is important. You guys get it. God bless you guys. God bless America. God bless your family and God bless the world. Thank you for joining. And as always, thank you for listening with an open mind and open heart. I don't want to tell you who to like and believe and trust, but I do want you to, you know, like I do a lot of open forum questions. A lot of people do a closed forum. They won't answer questions like this because they can't handle it. And we saw that recently. They answer a question and they want to censor everybody on the right wing, not just left wing. So to just take these critical thoughts, you don't have to agree with me, but take them into the domain of other people's. Like you're allowed to take their views and perspectives into my domain and question and challenge me. So take, you know, some things I've said, you don't have to agree with it, but remember it and then watch other people and try to see if you see something that doesn't add up. And if it does, it's okay. Doesn't mean you got to hate them. It doesn't mean you got to be mean to them. But I think a lot of people need to be swayed. And even for me, we talked about fluoride. You said that. I listen. You know what I'm saying? And if someone has a good point, I share it. And if someone makes a good enough point, you could sway my view on things. I'm not certain things I don't really know that much about. So that's how people are. Trump, Shapiro, Charlie Kirk, they're not bad people necessarily, but sometimes following them is not going to lead you to the path of righteousness and truth. Sometimes you take a little Tucker or a little Laura or a little me and, you know, you put it against what they say, and sometimes they shift. That happened to Charlie Kirk recently. I think he was in over his head. He actually shifted his immigration policy. He called everybody white nationalists and racists and stuff. You know, he was like, oh my God, these are such bad people coming to my events. But they questioned him so much, he actually learned something new and changed his policy thanks to Michelle Malkin, Tucker Carlson, and a lot of these kids asking questions. So it's like they act like they hate it, but behind closed doors, they know you're right. You know what I'm saying? They'll call you names, but they'll change. You know, if you're right and they're wrong, they'll change if enough people are behind it. So that's all it is. It's all love. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back with more videos all year. Thank you for being patient and kind, and I appreciate you now more than ever. I'll be back soon.